Hello everyone, I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. A leaner and more flexible military. President Barack Obama announced today the U.S. military strategy is being reshaped. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta gave the details, saying the U.S. will be ready to fight several conflicts at once and flexible enough to move when possible. This after the results of a Defense Department review on the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
We can't afford to repeat the mistakes that have been made in the past. After World War II, after Vietnam, when our military was left ill-prepared for the future. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not let that happen again, not on my watch. We need a smart, strategic set of priorities. The new guidance that the Defense Department is releasing today does just that.
The defense budget will still be larger than it was at the end of the Bush administration, but the president also stressed that while leaner, the military will maintain superiority and will stay vigilant on the Middle East. Your vote 2012 in round 2 of the Republican race for president is less than a week away. The Republican presidential candidates who survived Iowa are now looking ahead to the next contest in the lineup, New Hampshire. Only Michelle Bachmann is out of the race. Texas Governor Rick Perry has decided to press on after a disappointing 5th-place finish in the Iowa caucuses.
You take a look, you didn't do as well in Iowa as you wanted to, but this is a quirky place and a quirky process, to say the least, and we're going to go into places where they have actual primaries.
Mitt Romney's hoping to win the next battle in New Hampshire by a larger margin than the 8 votes over Rick Santorum that gave him victory in Iowa. He's seen here at a forum in Greater Salem, New Hampshire, today with John McCain, who's backing him.
My goodness, what a squeaker, but it sure is nice to have a win, I'll tell you. And the question I have for you is, can we do better here in New Hampshire?
And most recent polls show him far ahead of the competition in New Hampshire, but that's not stopping second-place finisher Rick Santorum from campaigning hard and targeting the current administration. He spoke to supporters today in Northfield, New Hampshire.
If the rule of law means nothing of this country, then why are we meeting? Why don't we just go ahead, Mr. President, and let you run the country out of the executive office, ignore the Senate, ignore the rules, do whatever the hell you want. It's wrong. And someone needs to stand up and say, enough, Mr. President, you are not the emperor.
Santorum is really gaining momentum after his second-place finish in Iowa. His campaign has raised more than $1 million just since caucus night. Meanwhile, 4th-place finisher Newt Gingrich is also in New Hampshire and is criticizing Romney in an effort to make a good showing in the New Hampshire primary. Martin Morenz from our affiliate WBIN has more.
Newt Gingrich began his final campaign push in New Hampshire today, still smarting from his 4th-place finish in Iowa. He believes the media has trivialized the race for president.
One of the channels that had Republican food fight. We're trying to decide as a nation who we are and where we're going.
Gingrich talked about his rival, Governor Mitt Romney, and negative ads he claims Romney ran against him to win Iowa.
Governor Romney ran a relentlessly negative campaign of falsehoods, which earned one of his ads 4 Pinocchios from the Washington Post. And the fact is, 3 out of 4 Republicans rejected him.
Gingrich laid out a laundry list of issues in which he says Governor Romney has changed his position on.
Governor Romney was first an independent, then repudiated Reagan-Bush, then voted for Paul Tsongas, the most liberal candidate in the '92 campaign, then ran to the left of Teddy Kennedy in 1994, then became a moderate to run for governor in 2002, and then with Romney Care, for example, included state-funded abortions and included specifically designating Planned Parenthood as a part of Romney Care.
I'm Martin Morenz reporting for INN News.
A northern Utah community is mourning the death of a police officer killed in the line of duty. Here you can see a photo of Officer Jared Frankham. He died last night after a suspect shot him and 5 other officers as they tried to serve a search warrant at an Ogden home about 40 miles north of Salt Lake City. The officers were part of a narcotics task force. Police say the 5 surviving officers were hospitalized with injuries ranging from serious to critical. The suspect was also hurt and taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. What would you do if an intruder was breaking into your home with your child inside? New mom, 18-year-old Sarah McKinley from Oklahoma, was faced with just that when two men tried to break in. She called 911.
I've got two guns in my hand. Is it okay to shoot him if he comes in the store?
Well, you have to do whatever you can do to protect yourself. I can't tell you that you can do that, but you do what you have to do to protect your baby.
McKinley shot and killed the man who had a knife when he kicked through the door. The other man ran away but later turned himself in. The shooting was called justified. It's been a very tough holidays for McKinley. Her husband died of lung cancer on Christmas Day. 3 little Connecticut girls who died in a fire Christmas Day are being remembered today. Mourners gathered in New York for a public funeral to say goodbye to 7-year-old twins Grace and Sarah Badger and their 10-year-old sister Lily. They died Christmas Day after fire consumed their family's Stamford home. Firefighters believe that blaze was sparked by smoldering embers that had been removed from a fireplace. The girls' grandparents also died in the fire. The mother of the little girls and a friend escaped. This story is just tragic. A 2-year-old boy is dead after being hit by a truck right outside his daycare center. Adam Kruger from our Omaha affiliate KPTM has details.
Around 3:30 this afternoon, daycare owner Christopher Dean heard one of the worst things possible.
One of my staff, they came and said, "Chris, come down. We already called an ambulance, but a mother outside needs help. The baby got hit by a truck." Just like reality, you know, it's, you're never prepared for anything like that unless you go through it 1,000 times. You know, we take first aid and CPR, and I'm looking at this child like, can I save this child?
Unfortunately, Dean couldn't, as the 2-year-old boy died right in front of his mother. This was just the second day the boy and his 3 siblings had been going to the daycare.
Brand new family, so yeah, it's a sad deal. I wouldn't be in this business if I didn't care for kids, so it's tough.
An Omaha policeman told me the driver did not flee the scene and has not been charged with anything.
It's a tragic accident. It's definitely sad to see.
Adam Kruger reporting for INN News.
Take a look at this scene from Port Arthur, Texas. At least 50 vehicles were involved in this chain reaction accident. It happened on Highway 73, about 90 miles east of Houston. At least 10 people were taken to the hospital. The accident forced officials to shut down all eastbound and westbound lanes of the highway. Fog and smoke from nearby wildfires may have caused that huge wreck. Take a look at this. Yep, we have video of a car on a roof. Police in Fresno, California say the man behind the wheel of the stolen vehicle was speeding, lost control, went airborne, and ended up on the roof of the apartment complex. There you see it. Despite having a broken leg, the driver ran off, but police caught up with him a short time later. He's facing charges of auto theft, hit and run, and running from police. There's also a warrant out for him on other charges. Another deadly crash may also be blamed on the weather in China. We have this story and more in your Global News Now. At least 16 people were killed and 40 others hurt after a tourist bus fell from a highway bridge in southwest China. The 53-seat tourist bus was carrying 56 people. Ice may have been a factor, but an investigation is underway. At least 25 people are dead and as many as 100 could be missing after a landslide before dawn today on an island in the Philippines. The slide struck in a remote mountain region where gold prospectors were working. An Army unit has been digging through the mud and the debris of buildings looking for the living and the dead. For the first time in more than 50 years, a British Foreign Secretary is in Myanmar. William Hague is meeting with government officials, bringing a message of reform and offering Britain's help. He's also meeting with a pro-democracy leader whose National League for Democracy party has now been reestablished and will be part of elections in April. Officials in New Zealand are keeping a close eye on this cracked cargo ship. It's been stranded for the past 3 months. Nasty weather is expected to hit the area this weekend, and it could stir up waves that might break apart the ship even more. That could lead to oil spilling into the sea. Kate Middleton has revealed the first group of organizations she will support, from a tiny art therapy program for disadvantaged kids to a nationwide addiction treatment network. Until now, the Duchess of Cambridge official public appearances have been in a supporting role to her husband, Prince William. This is her first step toward carving out her own public role. And that's your Global News Now. Coming up next, a wake-up call for all of us. Starting our day may get a little more expensive, and why you could soon spend more for organic milk, if you can find it, that is. And actor David Hasselhoff's new claim to fame may make him a little crabby. Find out why later on INN.